Okay, let's just jump right into it. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into what I like to call the Great AI Jailbreak. We're going to completely map out how to transition from that feeling of passive anxiety about corporate lock-in straight into empowered digital sovereignty. Over the next few minutes, we are going step by step to expose the underlying architecture of modern surveillance, which we saw so clearly in the recent Pittman case study. We'll break down the illusion of free AI, and ultimately we're going to build a blueprint for a completely autonomous, locally run digital brain. So ask yourself, in 2026, is your privacy in a state of quantum uncertainty? Look, most of us operate under this comforting assumption that if we just use basic privacy tools, our data is hidden, but the reality today is actually far more unsettling. Your privacy is effectively in a state of quantum uncertainty, right up until a malicious actor or a data broker actively observes you. We call this Schrödinger's anonymity. It's like a giant puzzle. You are never truly hidden. Your metadata, the timing of your requests, your device's exact screen resolution, even the specific fonts installed on your system. It's all just floating out there. It's literally just waiting for a powerful AI to connect the dots, collapse that probability, and instantly de-anonymize you.
Section 1. The Economic Trap. The Hidden Catches of 2026's Free AI.
To reclaim our sovereignty, we really need to map out the battlefield first, because the status quo is financially and ethically unsustainable. These so-called free tiers, they're strictly consumer honeypots. They let you build a cute little prototype, but the absolute second you move to production, boom, you are throttled. It's the classic boiling frog effect. They trap you in escalating costs just as you become completely locked into their specific ecosystem. And it's honestly kind of crazy how blatantly they bury this in the fine print.
You might think you have free access, right? Well, actually, read the terms of service. With Google Gemini, you get 1,500 requests a day, but you are severely bottlenecked by a 15 request per minute limit. OpenAI? They place a strict 200 request daily limit on reasoning models, which actually works out to roughly 10 messages every 5 hours on GPT 5.5. And Cohere explicitly bans production use on their free tier altogether. Eventually, they will force you to pay. And worse, you're often paying a massive data tax with your proprietary prompts, since their terms frequently allow them to use unpaid tier inputs to train their own models.
14. Just 14 days. That's exactly how long your data can sit idle on Weaviate's free sandbox cluster before it completely expires and is deleted forever. This absolutely proves that your data is never truly yours on a free tier. If you take a 2-week vacation, your entire vector database is just wiped out. Poof.
Section 2. The Privacy Paradox. Why traditional tools architecturally fail.
Now, we really need to dissect why the tools you think are protecting you are actually failing miserably against modern probabilistic profiling. Let's be real. Incognito mode does absolutely nothing to hide your browser fingerprint. It just deletes your local history. And then there's the VPN fallacy. Sure, a VPN masks your IP address at the network layer, but it completely fails against trackers that are analyzing your GPU performance, your screen resolution, and even your micro mouse movements to pinpoint exactly who you are.
And it's not just a software bug. The infrastructure itself is fundamentally flawed. A 7-year vulnerability disclosure study highlighted that severe architectural flaws persist across systems like OpenVPN and WireGuard. Even on fully updated devices, these flaws remain unpatched simply because they are inherent to how the networks are designed in the first place.
Here's the scary part. Metadata kills. Even with military-grade encryption, adversaries can carry out TCP injection and client activity surveillance without ever reading a single word of your encrypted messages. They literally don't need to decrypt your traffic if they can see who you're talking to, how much data you're sending, and exactly when you're sending it.
Section 3. The Sovereign Tool. Introducing Hermes Agent.
So how do we break free from this stateless corporate trap where you're constantly surveilled and monetized? We need a really powerful countermeasure. Enter Hermes Agent. Unlike commercial models that suffer from this built-in amnesia, where they reset every session, Hermes is entirely different. Built by Noose Research, it operates on the core assumption that a true AI agent should remember you. It's open source and stateful, meaning it's actually better on day 30 than it was on day 1. Hermes actually runs on a self-evolving learning loop. It's not just chatting with you, it's actively distilling your successful workflows into reusable, self-improving skills. Teach it a really complex task once, and it writes a script for it. It also utilizes full-text search across all your past sessions and builds this incredibly deep psychological model of your preferences using a system called Honcho. It's a real game changer. And here's how it avoids that annoying context bloat that totally ruins most AI agents over time. By strictly enforcing a 1,375-character limit on its core memory file and utilizing a brilliant background agent called the curator to evaluate and summarize that memory every 10 conversational turns, Hermes stays incredibly fast and focused without ever losing your history.
Section 4. The OpSec protocol, establishing a secure foundation.
Okay, an autonomous agent is really only as sovereign as the environment it lives in. So let's build your tactical armor to deploy this tool without being tracked by the very systems we're trying to escape. First, you sanitize your environment. Second, route your traffic securely using Orbot. Third, bypass mandatory data collection by using Grizzly SMS to get a virtual number. And finally, register for anonymous backend services without ever burning your real identity.
Running Orbot on Android in Power User Mode is absolutely critical here. By disabling Android's private DNS and explicitly routing specific apps directly through the Tor network, you mitigate the exact VPN inference vulnerabilities we just talked about. You are ensuring that no background apps are quietly leaking your metadata outside of that encrypted tunnel.
And you know when platforms inevitably demand a phone number for quote-unquote security purposes? Yeah, don't fall for it. Utilizing a virtual number from a service like Grizzly SMS ensures your anonymous accounts are never tied back to your real identity. This is exactly how you bypass the data tax that corporate giants try to aggressively collect before letting you use their infrastructure.
Section 5. The ultimate synthesis, building your autonomous blueprint.
All right, this is where it all comes together. We are engineering a blueprint for a fully autonomous, locally run agent that works only for you. By combining our secure OpSec protocol with the Hermes framework, you create something incredible. You deploy Hermes locally via Docker, you route your sanitized traffic through Orbot, and instead of paying exorbitant fees, you use OpenRouter to aggregate requests across free API tiers. You've literally built an unstoppable, self-hosting digital brain.
Instead of hitting the frustrating rate limits of a single free tier, you can dynamically shift the load. Think about it. You can seamlessly route your agents fast, real-time reasoning through Grok, dump massive daily volumes through Cerebras, and then use Gemini Flash as a reliable baseline. By stacking these generous APIs through a single router, you multiply your capacity for free. You completely sidestep the economic trap. I want to leave you with this one final provocative thought. As we move deeper into 2026, reclaiming your digital sovereignty isn't just about tweaking some browser settings or saving a few bucks on an API subscription. It's a vital, intentional act of reclaiming your agency in an age of automated surveillance. It's a digital rebirth. The tools are there, and the blueprint is now in your hands. So the question is, will you remain a monetized product, or will you execute your digital rebirth?